recall a specific piece of advice from any of your teachers that has proved to be particularly impactful throughout your career?
Well, there's so many advices that I got from really great teachers. I mean, I was so fortunate to study with, I think, really the best teachers that could be. In the end of the 20th century, Bernard Greenhouse, Boris Pergamenchikov, Lawrence Flesser, Aldo Pariso, I mean, many lessons with Starker. My teachers in Israel back then, Shmuel Magen, Uri Vardi, it's countless. And really, I think what I've realized that in recent years, many of their advices or even little tricks or specific fingering or bowing, I contradict or I disagree with. But what I realized that all of them, the good ones, what they taught me is to teach myself, really. So whenever Pergamenchikov would give me a fingering, he didn't force me, well, back then in front of him, yes, try it and master it. That was his thing. But it was not expected of me to go and to play like this, the piece eventually in my life, is to realize that he came up with this solution because he thought about it, and it makes sense to him musically and technically. And if that's the case, now you go and find your own voice, your own solution. But basing it on all those great teachers, you realize, okay, each one of them found their own way, and all they're doing is sharing it with me, so I will be able to have the tools to find my own way. So I think really the best tool, not of advice, of learning from those masters was to be able to do it myself. And I remember the first few months being out of school, how scared I was. In fact, I was supposed to play Brahms' double concerto for the first time, and I called Pergamenchikov and I said, could you listen to me? Because I was scared that I won't be able to, how would I know what to do? I was used to him telling me every single note what to do, what fingering, what emotion, and he purposely said, no, go figure it out. Figure it out, and I did. And to tell you that performance more than 20 years ago, or the way I play it now is the same? No, absolutely not. But it shouldn't be the same. But back then I was 150% convinced that that's how I should do it. And now when I play it, I try to bring myself to that position. So I'm never bored of any piece that I play because I try to make it fresh and to sort of recompose it using the tools of those really great teachers. Now while I'm speaking, another quote or advice that comes to mind is from Bernard Greenhouse, that always used to tell me, Amit, at the end of the day, you'll be judged by your voice and not by how fast or how loud you play. Because as we know, I mean, you guys, young people who are studying cello, striving to become cellists, the level is so high and it gets higher and higher, which is great. But, like my colleague Leon Fleischer says, you know, the mediocrity is rising to a very high level, which is true. Like a lot of the orchestras I go to play, even community orchestras around the country, they become better and better and better. And you think to yourself, wait, this is not a fully professional or a full-time job orchestra. How is it possible? Well, it's possible because you guys are going out there after school and you need to work, so the level is rising to such a high level, technical level. However, to be judged by your voice, like if you touch your instrument and people can recognize that it's your sound, it's your speech, that's still rare. And that's what I learned from Greenhouse. I'm not saying I can do it, but I learned from him that I have to look for that, for my voice, for my vocabulary, for my way of saying things. And if I can convey to my students, they will find their own way. I'm so enjoying to see former students these days sending me CDs or videos and sharing with me what they're doing. And a lot of it is completely opposite of how I would look at it or play it or teach it. But that's wonderful because I taught them to be their own artists.